The enemy made a strange discovery. Although the adversary had clearly entered the ambush circle, just as the enemy was preparing to fight, unexpectedly, the other side suddenly turned around and fled desperately. Even though Xiaodao, Little Island, was utterly baffled, how could he let a prey about to fall into his hands go? So he chased after them without hesitation. Unbeknownst to him, the enemy had already walked into our army's trap. Even stranger, when the enemy chased to a clearing surrounded by mountains on all sides, the opposing men did not flee at all. Instead, they stayed in place and waited for a long time. Very soon, both sides raised their guns at each other. But the enemy had no sense of military honor. The silent female warrior was taken hostage to threaten, and they shouted for the National Army Special Camp to disarm and surrender. Thinking they now had bargaining chips for negotiation, the men nonetheless spoke arrogantly, saying, "None of you will leave here today." As the soldiers slowly moved aside, it became apparent that the teammates had already set up devices to detonate explosives. This terrified the enemy so much he literally wet his diaper. When he tried to sneak back, a voice snarled, "Don't move, move again, and I'll detonate." "You're playing tricks, watch carefully." Everyone looked around and saw the hills covered with tied explosives. Xiaodao panicked instantly. He knew our troops never fear death in battle. If we truly got riled, they wouldn't gain a single advantage. So Xiaodao took hostages as a bargaining condition. If the special camp released them and let them go, the enemy would free the hostages. What they never expected was that our snipers had already taken the high ground. If the situation changed, they would immediately start picking off targets. Fortunately, the enemy behaved and retreated without any sudden moves. Otherwise, the snipers would have sent them to their deaths. Thus, Captain Zhou successfully recovered the hostages. Seeing the enemy flee the scene, the special camp dared not linger and quickly withdrew to a safe area. But the more Xiaodao thought about it, the more uneasy he became. He suspected the special camp was faking things. To find out what was going on, the enemy immediately turned back and returned to the encircled area. When they arrived at the original spot, they found it deserted, but strangely, all the explosives were still there. Logically, the National Army was extremely short on ammunition. How could they have left behind so many explosive charges when fleeing? So he gathered all the explosive packs together, and sure enough, he discovered that, damn it, they were all fake.